Good day to you. No, it is not the morning. Yeah, it's about midday today and it's beautiful weather. There's a slight bit of wind which might come out in the camera, and I haven't bought my wind muff, so apologies to all of you out there. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining. Hello, this is Phoenix History, and today, for all of you out there, I'm in the glorious Kent countryside, and yeah, got a really interesting one today. Let me talk about it briefly and then we'll get towards it. So, in Kent, it's rare that you find Victorian culverts or anything necessarily of that age that is water-based. And today, I think we might have found one. We might have found a Victorian culvert that qualifies on lots of different levels. A couple of different phases of history as well on there, which you'll see. And yeah, I'm really excited if we can get to it. That's always the question though, isn't it? So I'm sure if you stay with me, we'll do our best, and let's go find it. Come on. Welcome back. So, as you're probably aware of on Phoenix History, I genuinely try to do some really unusual places when I can. Places that not many people have explored, and most of the time that's because they're probably not that big, and yet the irony is that they contain the most amount of history. Now today, we're talking county specific to Kent. So, as you've seen on my channel, you've probably noticed that I've done a lot of culverts. Many different shapes and sizes, and most of them are Victorian in date. Although we did a very special culvert a while back now, which had a medieval brickwork in it. If you haven't seen that one, I think just type in medieval culvert or something in, I think it was Leicestershire or it might be Northamptonshire, one of the two counties, I apologise. And I was sort of looking through and I was sort of thinking, do you know what, Kent, although Kent has culverts, you know, because the amount, the rivers that we have, and obviously in this instance, which I'll talk about when we get there, it's a very important river that we're going to obviously be crossing. I think that to actually find something in this condition, this size and this importance, I think says a lot of how rare they are in this county. And one of the clues, it's a shame that the train isn't going along now, but this is our Channel Tunnel link. We're pretty much a stone's throw away from Ashford, and we're also not too far away from Canterbury, and in fact we're pretty much equidistant to most places, including Dover. In fact, it actually comes under the Dover boundary, I think, where we are, but right on the outskirts. But we need to get there. We're not too far away, so let's keep going. Welcome back, and welcome to the East Stour, which is part of the Stour. I'm having to crawl because the water level has just got significantly deeper. Oh, let's try and grab this. And it's now gone above my Wellingtons, which was a bit annoying, but there you go. Oh, splash, splash, splash. Whew. Let's keep going, come on. Yes. Get in. We've done it. That was, you can tell nobody's been down here in a long time, all that echo. So, we are at a hidden culvert in Kent. Another one. Wow. That's amazing. So originally, I think the idea was that this had predated to Victorian times when the main line, Finger of Doom, was going across, and that's our train line. And you can see it's rather deep, and I've got to go through that way again. And you can see, unfortunately, I've got a bit wet, but that's okay. That's totally fine. Whole part of exploring, isn't it? Look at that. Right. Let me get myself sorted and we'll go in proper. Come on. Okay. So actually, the water should be fine under Wellingtons, but there was a couple of bits on the embankment that made it a little bit more. That's crazy. So originally this should have been Victorian, and it started off at the length you're going to see it, but what makes it really special for Kent, at least anyway, for this area of Kent, I'm just going to put it out there, as you can see about halfway down it modernises into something really modern. So we've got two sections of two different culverts here. Obviously you can see there's been concrete and they've reinforced it, obviously as the Eurotunnel pretty much came into fruition, obviously along that main line, which has always been here, which is obviously to go towards Dover. I think it might be that way. But this is incredible. Now, I might get a torch. Oh, there we go. Right, let's try and find myself a torch, I think is the best idea. Bear with. Welcome back. Did you miss me? What I've done is I've just unloaded my bag just on the bank of the ditch there. I don't really want it to be a hindrance to me today. You can see it's actually longer than I thought, but it makes sense why it was extended. I've got my little torch with me because you can pretty much see, but obviously this torch is going to help. Beautiful clear water from, like I said, the East Stour, this is called, affectionately known as, and we're going to be absolutely polite. And you can see, oh, excuse the strobe there, you can see where there, my little spotlight, where it dips into a more modern culvert section. Here we are, these little banks. It's beautiful, this, even though it's quite modern. Originally, underneath this is proper Victorian, I'm assuming. If you looked at the old maps, it's fascinating. Here we go in the dark for a second. Yeah, look. How cool is that? Little drain ladder there. Oh, wow. And this is where the original section would have stopped. So what you're looking at now is the length of the original, which would have been a culvert slash tunnel for some of you. And then, because of the train line being modernised, we now go into our extension of these stereotypical rectangular concrete sections, which you can see are pretty much built in. You can see each individual section there being laid out. Fantastic. I mean, to say that this is actually originally historic really doesn't do it justice. I mean, it really is historic. And it's just so rare to see it in Kent. Now, I don't know why I'm doing that classic thing, I'm creeping in, I can stand up. So even at this height, the modernisation is just shy of 6 foot. But isn't this just brilliant? I actually genuinely thought it'd be a lot shallower, but it's we've had some rain coming through at the moment in the past week or so, so that's probably the rundown into the Stour, this historic river really that I'm walking across. Like I said, more famous because of its obviously Canterbury connection I'm going to try and get on this bank here though, although it's quite soggy underfoot. I'm assuming it's going to be quite shallow there. Look at this. Sorry about that, hang on. There we go. Clearly a thing for wildlife here. And then my footsteps. Wow. Oh, it's a bit sinky as well on this side. Oh, it's very sinky. Not sure we're going to be able to make it opposite side, am I? Not really want to get stuck in the mud. Feels quite hard though. That doesn't. Oh dear. Mud, mud, mud. There we go, come on, let's get it the other way. Sorry about that, everyone, that is, I don't know if you can see, look how deep that's just gone, sucking my boots up. Let's try and get out here. Oh, there we go. Nice feeling when you can make it to the other side and you're not actually stuck in the mud. That is fantastic for a culvert in Kent. Absolutely fantastic. For its size, for its history, more important. So you can see they've lengthened the bank out from the original railway track. And as they've extended it, they've added the new culvert. And then I'm assuming near the railway line up there is where we've got our little drop down, our ladder. That's something special, isn't it? It really is. Sorry about my camera work, everyone, by the way, today. It's just trying to multitask on something like this. That's crazy. I love it. Nice little piece of history. I really do think that, and especially because it encompasses Phoenix history, doesn't it? The idea that I'm desperately trying to find you unique and special little places just sort of out of the way, really. And I'm just glad that I can take you along with me. More importantly, we've had the trains go over. I think the only thing to do now is to head back and hopefully retrace our footsteps so we don't get stuck in the mud. That's lovely. Brilliant. Right, let's keep going. Okay. Wow. Thankfully it's quite humid, so my Wellingtons actually, believe it or not, are drying off quite quickly on the inside. And even though I'm getting stuck in the mud, as you can see there, it's actually relatively okay to put my foot out, which is always worrying. I always try to aim for the side of a wall if possible, just in hopes that if you ever, God forbid, do get stuck, at least you've got the chance of trying to grab onto something at least. This side's actually relatively, compared to the little island there, actually relatively solid. It's just nice to see the amount of nature that's been coming through here. Simply fantastic. The splash of the water on my Wellingtons. Never get bored of that sound. And just the history that I'm walking through these technically two clear phases. You've got the original brick Victorian 1800s, then you've got it replaced with the internal concrete of that, which would have been so obviously the concrete on the inner side is replacing the brick that would have been on the outside, which you can see. And then we've got what we're walking through now, our modern section. And do you know what, like I said before, it's so rare to see these types of culverts in Kent. Sorry, my torches. Again, I'm trying to look where I'm standing. You've got to forgive me on this. The mud and the water level's quite deceptive. Still brilliant though. What I forgot to mention actually, let me do that. What I forgot to mention was that there was one bit of graffiti that I've seen on here. One tiny bit. Just shows that not many people have explored this. And I love that. I can't tell you the amount of times I've climbed up and down ladders like that. Wow. Oh, there we go. And then look, our clear second phase of history as the old gives way to the new. Just brilliant. I love seeing those different phases. Look at this. Do I need the torch? Hell no. You can see that okay. Maybe a little bit on there. Look at that. Oh, I'm so happy I did this one today. So, the final thing is I'm going to stop halfway through. The final thing I actually wanted to talk to you about was the East Stour itself. But what I want to do is wait till we get to the end so I can tell you more about that, just to put it a little bit more in context. So, and right on cue, train came through. Wow, what a great one. Apart from my own silliness getting wet just around the corner here, you can see how overgrown it is. I think we did all right. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my bag and tell you about the last piece of history that this place is revealing for us. Okay, so our last piece of history is really important, and it's actually one of the main reasons why I came down here. In 1999, Canterbury Archaeological Society came down here because it was basically part of the construction of the Channel Tunnel link, which was obviously from Ashford to Folkestone, which obviously we sort of spoke about, Ashford to Dover, etc, etc. And what they found really interesting about this certain section of the Stour, as they were sort of doing their survey, was that they'd noticed that the path that we've just gone to, or gone through, wasn't the original path of the Stour. In fact, what was really interesting was that there were at least 3 different versions of the Stour diversions that had originally gone on. Now, what was assumed was, don't quote me on this, but from what I remember, what was assumed was that that was actually even earlier, potentially medieval, to do with the farming area and everything else, to divert the stream a little bit, to benefit and also to stop from potential flooding. So what we're looking at even now wasn't necessarily the original route through the Stour, and that is quite simply mind-blowing to me to know that this phase of history had so much more hidden secrets about it. I mean, brilliant. Absolutely fascinating. You can see here where the bricks, where I've been going up the siding of the bricks here. It's only on one, or it's actually on both sides, but you can see, actually this is pretty much one of the main reasons why this culvert takes place really. You can see where there's been a lot of erosion falling down off that steep bank, and it's come over the original brick landway here. Amazing. And the amount of like little bits of iron and everything else I'm sort of seeing through this really is incredible. I reckon there's so many more secrets that this place has got yet to reveal. But I love it. This has been so worth it today. I'm so glad I did it. Obviously that fence has been completely demolished. At one point you could see where that would have been there to stop railway network, obviously from scamps like me going through and potentially climbing the line. You can see that up there as well is also new, but obviously those trees, that landfall there has completely cut that through. Well, there you go. Right, I think we've explored it well enough. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to head out, so bear with me, and hopefully I don't get flooded again this time around, but you never know. Come on, I'll see you when I get out. Welcome back. I made it, but sadly I did there were certain sections which did mean I got wet again. I'm not going to show you me flooding my boots. I tell you what, wasn't that just brilliant? I really enjoyed that. That was so worth it. You could tell that nobody had been down there in like years and years. I mean, that was so overgrown. I've basically just created politely a new path. I'm very aware that nature is down there and there's lots of active nature, so I didn't really want to make too big a hole if possible. I was very aware of that when going down there. You can obviously see the little footprints, but all in all, what a fantastic place. Obviously to cover the Stour as well, this iconic river in Kent that we have. You know, one of its sections was such a privilege, and to actually do this, to see the different phases, I'm pretty sure looking back on it that although that was Victorian in date originally, it does look a little bit more modern, the brickwork on top. I could be wrong on that, it just looks a little bit too clean, but maybe they had to when they definitely put the concrete inner for that. But fascinating. Great to hear the trains going over as well as we were sort of going over there, the old Eurostar and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for coming along with me. Really hope you enjoyed that. And I mean, if Kent had culverts like this everywhere, I mean, I'd be all over them, but sadly they just don't, and it's kind of unusual to sort of see one as good condition as that. Like I said, there was literally one tiny bit of graffiti down there and that was it. Anyway, in the immortal words of Phoenix history, thank you so much for coming along with me. I really hope you enjoyed that as the sun's starting to come back out again, just to hopefully dry my boots off. Eurostar, there you go, you can see it, high speed, is going over. Thank you. In the immortal words of Phoenix history, because history matters, doesn't it just on a place like that? And you know, I'll see you all very soon. Feel free to spread the word of the channel. Much love to all of you out there. Come on, you ready? Watch out now. Kapow! Let's dry these boots off.